Okay, guys, so on this comprehension lesson for this week, we are going to talk about identifying the correct information. So it's something to be able to actually identify your information, to know what you're going to answer for your questions. But the thing is, like, you need to know exactly if it's the correct answer or not. A lot of the time when I correct readings from students, I see students that have answered a question and actually it's not the correct one, or student who have said the sentence was positive when actually it was positive throughout, and at the end it was like a little word just switched it to negative. So just to make sure that we are careful about these little things, so we actually get the right info. So if we have a look at the booklets, so here it's actually unit 3 for so from page 18, identifying relevant information. So as I said, just to make sure you have the correct information in the text, that you're not distracted by something that would be irrelevant. So for example, if I tell you that if I'm just listing all the activities that I've done in a weekend, but you're looking for what my friend has done, then you might be focused on keywords, and then you might put the first activity you find and actually it's not the right person, for example. And then ensuring that we do not miss negatives. So as I said, just a little word, sometimes you don't need the ne pas. Sometimes just a little word can switch the sentence from positive to negative. You need to be careful about this. So actually this video is going to be quite short because it's quite straightforward. So I'm just going to let you follow the pages. As such, there's not much input from me here, but let's just have a look quickly. So here, exam style question. Here again, we don't ask you to actually do it, just to have a look at how it works, how the people answered, just to understand a bit better what I mean by irrelevant information, for example, by identifying something you should not be identifying. So that's for the get started. So that's up to you. I'm going to let you do that. Get started 2 pages. When you move on to the first unit, so let's zoom this. So the first unit is about how to ensure that we find the correct information in the text. So here, I know I'm going to repeat myself again, but synonyms are just so important. Oh, I've lost the page. Knowing what word is in which type, like in which family, is going to be really important. You need to know if you have a verb, a word, sorry, if you have a word, you need to be able to know what it means, all the different implications and meanings that you can get from that word, and that is where you're going to get the correct information. So here they say find words in a text that are connected to the question. So, and that's basically what I mean. So synonyms, in the question you might have some. So if they talk to you about school in the question, they might be using collège, école, lycée, all the words that kind of like synonyms inside of the text, but they won't be using the same one than in question. So you need to be able to know that. Then reading around the words to see if you find the right information. Don't forget, at higher keywords are not necessarily they're not necessarily the most important. So if you have something about tennis and you see the word tennis inside of your inside of the text, be careful, because it can't be that easy. Maybe the person is different, maybe the positive, negative, maybe the modal, maybe it could be I like tennis but I can't play it, therefore you need to be able to know your modal verbs and all these kind of things. So to be very careful at higher, to be careful about the little words, because they're the one that are going to make the difference, really. And then they say to read the rest of the text to check that you haven't jumped to conclusions. That's exactly what I mean, to make sure that you haven't just focused on the keyword without realizing that the answer is actually a bit further ahead. So that's the unit 1. I'm just going to let you do this on your own, and then suppose this video, and then come back to me for the rest. And then if you're back here and we're doing the Unit 2, Unit 2 is about how to ensure that we're not distracted by irrelevant information. So here, please just read everything. Don't just read the beginning of the text and then answer your question. Read the whole text, even if it's long. It's long for a purpose, and I can't just stress enough how they will try to trick you at higher. So just make sure that you are reading out the text really, really carefully. Try and pick out all the little expressions, the phrases that could help you eliminate what you're not actually supposed to hear. And to read, actually, for both listening and reading. So here on this page, which is page 21, they will give you a little bit more ideas about this. Here again, there's not much from me. It's more practice, making sure that you go around, that you have examples of tricks that they might play, examiners might play. So it's not much of a lecture for me, it's more like practicing examples, case studies. So here you have a lot of examples to practice. And then the last page, here we are. Last page is how do we ensure that we don't miss negatives? So here again, you don't necessarily need a ne pas structure when something is negative. A negative adjective, something that is not positive, could actually work. So for example, if they say something est terrible, terrible is not positive, it's an adjective that says something is bad. So they wouldn't need to say the ne pas structure to make it negative. They simply need to use a positive structure but with a negative word, and that would make it a negative sentence. So here to be very careful about this, about all this kind of things. So expressions, sometimes some idioms are actually negative, but I strongly doubt that they will actually put an idiom inside of the comprehension, but you can never be sure for 100%. But on a general note, just to be careful about all these little shades, you know, when they ask you to write whether the sentence is positive, negative, or both, just to be a bit careful about this. So I'll let you practice page 22. I think, yeah, that's it, page 22 again. And the last page for me, I told you this video was going to be quite short because, as I said, it's more of a case study practice, not much of a lecture. So here again, U-turn, they're going to ask you to actually do the question. So you here have to write true, false, or both. So that's exactly what I was saying. So make sure that you're reading all the little words, all the small pronouns, preposition, the little adjective, the little like linking words, all these, they are here to trick you. So make sure that you actually pay attention to this very carefully. And I think the last page is another your turn. Yes, it is another your turn. With another question from that. So here they're asking you to write the correct phrases. So here, this is exactly what I was talking to you about. You're going to see a lot of keywords. Don't jump straight away to it. Make sure you read everything. Don't forget your synonyms. Sometimes they will try to write a lot of different words just to lose your comprehension. So don't fall into the trap, basically. So that is the comprehension for this week. It might be a little bit confusing, but that's on purpose, just to prepare you to what might be coming in the exam for the reading and listening. So that's it for me. You can download the little pages below if you don't have the booklet, and I can't wait to see your work.